Everyone thinks getting top grades means you have to have no life. It's just all-nighters, zero friends, and a diet of instant noodles and pure stress. But what if I told you that's a complete lie? What if the real secret to crushing school isn't studying more, but studying with a totally different, insane philosophy? This is Natalie Portman. After starring in Star Wars, she became one of the most famous people on the planet. Then she did something crazy and enrolled at Harvard. And while filming the next Star Wars movies, she wasn't just passing. Her professors were blown away by her brain and crazy focus. How? She used a powerful mindset that literally separates the top 1% from everyone else. I am going to give you her exact method, show you the principles she used to win, and teach you how to use it for insane results without the burnout. The year is 2000. The Phantom Menace had made Natalie Portman a global superstar. The obvious move was to cash in, grab more blockbuster roles, and lock in her spot in Hollywood. Instead, she did something that made zero sense to the entire industry. She put her acting career on pause to get a psychology degree from Harvard. She literally said, "I'm going to college. I don't care if it ruins my career. I'd rather be smart than a movie star." This was not a PR stunt. This was a massive statement about what she actually valued. But the pressure was crazy. She had to handle the insane workload of an Ivy League school while juggling filming for the upcoming Star Wars movies. The entire world was watching, and a lot of people were waiting for her to fail. In her 2015 Harvard commencement speech, she admitted she felt a huge need to prove she wasn't just a dumb actress. She was totally overwhelmed, intimidated by classmates who seemed to do it all so easily, and shocked by things as simple as 5-page paper assignments. So how did she go from feeling like a total fraud to absolutely dominating one of the most competitive places on Earth? The answer isn't a secret study hack or a photographic memory. It was a powerful 2-part framework that anyone can copy. This is the 1% secret. The foundation of Portman's success wasn't a technique, it was a complete mind shift. Most students are running on external rewards. They study to get the A, to pass the exam, to get the degree, to make their parents happy, or just to look smart. These are all prizes from the outside world. In her commencement speech, Portman talked about falling right into this trap. She said when she first got to Harvard, she felt like an imposter. "I felt like there had been some mistake, that I wasn't smart enough to be in this company," she said. To beat that feeling, she put on an armor of seriousness. She chose insanely hard courses like neurobiology and advanced modern Hebrew literature to prove to everyone and herself that she belonged there. She was chasing the trophy of being seen as serious, but then it clicked. She realized that being serious for seriousness' sake was its own kind of trophy and a dubious one. She was still chasing approval from other people. The real change happened when she switched her motivation from outside to inside. This brings us to pillar 1. You have to anchor your work to a purpose that's bigger than the prize. Portman said it perfectly. Achievement is wonderful when you know why you're doing it, and when you don't know, it can be a terrible trap. For her, that Harvard degree stopped being a piece of paper. It became a symbol of her own curiosity, the challenges she'd overcome, and the incredible friends she'd made. So what does this mean for you? Before you even open a textbook, you have to ask yourself, why am I actually doing this? Is it just to pass a test? Or is it to master a subject you think is cool? Are you just writing a paper for a grade, or are you using it as a chance to get smarter and build an unbeatable argument? When your why flips from "I have to do this" to "I get to do this," the entire game changes. The work stops being a chore you suffer through to get a prize later. The work itself becomes the prize. This internal drive is the fuel that powers the top 1%. They aren't just hunting for an A, they're hunting for understanding. The A is just what happens when you do that. This is the mindset that turns brutal work into a mission you actually care about. Once you have your why, you need the how. A huge purpose is useless without disciplined action. This is the second pillar of the secret, mastering the art of sustained, focused work. This is not about studying for 12 hours straight. It's about the quality and intensity of your focus when you actually work. Portman's professors didn't say she was a once-in-a-generation genius. They said she was something way more powerful and way more achievable. Stephen M. Koslin, a former dean at Harvard who had Portman as a research assistant, said, "It was very clear when she was a student that she is a very determined person and capable of focused effort over a sustained period." Let that sink in. Focused effort over a sustained period. That is the engine of high-level success. Another professor, the famous Harvard law scholar Alan Dershowitz, saw the exact same thing. Portman took his class on neuropsychology and the law and got the top grade.
Dershowitz was so impressed he hired her as a research assistant for his book. This wasn't because she was a celebrity. It was because her work was just that good. So how can you do this? I'm going to give you 3 simple habits. First, time block your schedule. Natalie Portman was juggling a full Harvard course load with filming Star Wars. Her schedule wasn't a suggestion, it was law.
She couldn't study when she felt like it. She had to carve out specific, mandatory blocks of time for deep work. You have to do the same thing. Treat your study sessions like appointments you cannot miss. A 2-hour block with 0 interruptions is worth more than 5 hours of distracted multitasking. Put it on your calendar and protect that time like a fortress. Second, create a 0 distraction zone. To get that sustained focus, Portman couldn't be checking box office numbers or taking calls from her agent. For us, the modern enemy is the smartphone. The single most powerful thing you can do for your grades is to put your phone in another room. Every buzz, ding, and notification destroys your concentration and forces your brain to start over, killing your momentum. When it is time to work, your phone and all other distractions are gone. No social media, no email, no quick checks, just you and the work. Third, go deeper than the minimum. Portman didn't just show up and pass her tests. She became a research assistant and even co-authored a published study on frontal lobe activation. She was actively creating knowledge, not just consuming it. That is the core of deep learning. For you, this means don't just read the chapter. Try to solve the hardest problems at the end. Don't just memorize the formula. Fight to understand where it came from. Attack the material, ask hard questions, and go for a level of understanding that is way beyond just passing the test. This 2-part system, a deep why driving structured, focused work, is the secret. It creates an insane upward spiral. Your purpose fuels your focus, and your focused work gets you results that make your purpose even stronger. Right now, you're probably thinking, a deep purpose and focused work sounds awesome, but I'm the world's biggest procrastinator. Where do I even start? This is where the true power of this framework comes in, because it is a direct killer of procrastination. Procrastination is fueled by 2 things: no clear motivation and being confused about the task. First, motivation. When you're only studying for a grade, that outside prize, the work feels like a chore. Your brain, which wants instant rewards, will do anything to avoid that chore. Suddenly, cleaning your room seems incredibly important. But when you anchor yourself with a powerful internal why, pillar 1, the whole game changes. You're no longer forcing yourself to do something you hate. You're choosing to do something that gets you closer to your goals. The motivation comes from inside, making it 1,000 times easier to start. Second, confusion. We procrastinate when a task feels too big. Study for my final is a recipe for failure. It's not a real action. But from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., I will finish the practice problems for Chapter 5 in a quiet room with my phone off. That is a clear, doable plan. The deep work method, pillar 2, destroys that confusion. By time blocking your work and setting one specific goal, you get rid of the friction of figuring out what to do. You already made the decision. Now, all you have to do is execute. This framework doesn't just help you study better, it systematically tears down the reasons you procrastinate. It replaces dread with purpose, and it replaces confusion with a crystal clear plan. Portman's journey proves that our biggest limits are usually the ones we give ourselves. In her speech, she talked about taking the role in Black Swan, which needed a level of dance she just didn't have. She said, "If I had known my own limitations, I never would have taken the risk." And the risk led to one of my greatest artistic and personal experiences. Your own inexperience can be your greatest weapon. It frees you from worrying about how things are supposed to be done and lets you invent your own way. Start small. Before your very next study session, take 60 seconds. Close your eyes and ask yourself, what's my real reason for doing this? What can I learn right now? Then put your phone in another room. Set a timer for 45 minutes and give the task 100% of your focus. That is how it starts. You build momentum one focused session at a time, driven by a purpose that is 100% your own. This is Peak Razor. Let's build productivity systems that win daily.